The whole thing is an outtake. What's up, guys? This is our first video on the cannolis.
Cannolis.
Look at a guy eating Sour Patch Kids. It's only right there. Julisa's sitting here eating. I'm Joey, a.k.a. I am Joey Cannoli. And this is my goddess of a fiance, Julisa. The Jew, the Juice, the one and only. Anyways, so here we are with our first video. For all of my familiar returning faces, welcome down to a watered down version of Joey Cannoli. I hope you enjoy yourselves. And let's get to it. This is gonna be like
it's so cute.
It's gonna be like when your pubescent years. You're still a little innocent, but you're also still kind of gross. So come on.
Yeah.
Start her up. This is Julise. Julise is obviously not used to being in front of a camera.
No, I know how to be in front of a camera.
Oh,
but
I know
we
that's
didn't
right.
do a
Hello.
We didn't do a rundown on like what we were gonna say.
I don't stage anything. We be ourselves and we let her ride.
Okay.
Doesn't look like she has a mustache. All right, so this is it. This is our first video, and you already know what the video is about. Julissa, you want to tell them what the video is about?
It's going to be a relationship video. Pretty much how we met, how
Ugh.
I stand the test of time to deal with this pain in the butt.
I actually contacted Dr. Odd, or Dr. Strange, so that he could go through every universe and timeline, and I still wind up with this pain. So I guess we were just meant to be. I just can't seem to get away from her. She's great though. All right, so how it started. Let's go back to the beginning. So my parents were feeling very turned on, and they.
We don't have to go that far. I think we can pass that part. Let's
It's my favorite part.
Oh, but why?
Because I was conceived. I shot out like a cannon at the circus. You know, like the what is it? The Greatest Showman and shit. One day more, you know. Anyways, wait, that's not The Greatest Showman. That's Les Miserables. All right, we're gonna leave that in there. Shout outs to the Hugh Jackman. All right, take it from here.
So, what year was it?
1903.
No,
What do you know? I don't know.
that was 15.
So listen, it doesn't matter the years. So I used to have a show on Blog TV. I don't know if you guys remember Blog TV.
Back in the day, it doesn't even exist anymore.
Doesn't even exist. It turned into You Now, and I don't even think that's a thing anymore. But you used to do live shows, kind of like the original live streaming.
The original.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was entertaining as I do in such a way.
At this time, you had your I Am Joey Cannoli account on YouTube.
Right.
You were doing videos.
Right.
Then.
I was doing videos.
Okay.
And here I am doing videos, and it's a bunch of bros. We're laughing. I'm young. I'm a teenager. Talking about fragrances.
You know.
And guys keep asking. They say, hey, I want to co-host with you. So me having the goldest, kindest heart in the world, I go, okay. Little do I know
So
that
naive.
they're fully nude, and they're playing around,
They're showing their dinkies
They're
on
showing
camera.
their dirty pickles, and I'm not the Velasic stork, so I'm not here to deliver. And it was kind of funny, and it was often kind of sad, because the dreams in which I'm dying are the best I ever had.
There it is.
That was a mad world.
It is.
For you aficionados out there. Anyway, so Julissa is being a creep like she is.
Because I already had an account on Blog TV and was doing my own live streaming on my own, channel. And don't do that to me.
Don't do it. That's what she said.
So I was scared. So I was browsing just to see who.
Browsing? You were creeping.
Like a.
This ain't, what am I, a catalog?
What was this?
You're browsing me? Oh, turn to page 69. Look at it. Continue.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah,
not
it
to
is.
curse.
It's so hard not to swear. What is going on here?
So I was browsing like I do, and
Hello.
I saw this guy over here. Now, if you guys are familiar with Joey Cannoli back in the day when his channel first came out, my boy was rocking that blowout. He was wearing that tracksuit with that sweatband and that gold chain, and he looked like a whole snack. Okay,
I was the whole Italian deli. Big beef business.
I seen him, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's cute." And
You slid in my DMs.
At that time, I was getting myself all cute.
Hello.
Because I had an agenda, okay? I got myself in a velour Victoria's Secret, like, pink tracksuit.
Did you go out of your way to match with me? You thought we could relate?
I did.
That's cute.
I tried really hard.
Yeah, you don't have to. You're beautiful.
And stop it.
I know.
And I curled my
Daddy.
hair. I had
How
like
did you know I
glasses
liked
on, and I was in the DMs, and I was like, "Hey, can I co-host with you?"
And I said, of course.
He's like, "Sure."
So in my mind, I already know that the second the camera comes on, I'm gonna kick her out. I'm not ready to see my 600-pound wife. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ready to see some guy nude playing with himself.
And I didn't even know what was going on prior.
Right, because she wasn't in there watching.
No.
She showed up and immediately went in for the kill. Like,
Yeah.
she seen what she wanted to eat for dinner, and she decided that's what she was gonna have.
That's just how it is.
So I accept her invite, and as it's buffering,
I'm getting all cute. I'm waiting. I got my camera all set up, and as soon as it's like almost time for it to load up, I just get like a notice on the whole screen of the computer saying, "You have been blocked or banned from this channel." And I'm like, what? I was like, what did I do? What did I do?
Right.
And then there was a glitch or something, because when he did that, my camera was still loading up.
her camera was in the process of starting up. So as quick as I blocked her, all of a sudden, out jumps the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. And when I talk about A1 prime meat, rib, grass-fed, organic, straight from the farm, not that she's like a cow, but like farm in the sense of like
me a cow.
clean. No, honey, I love you. I see this beautiful girl and I go, oh my God, I made a mistake. I
His
messed
face was
up.
priceless, by the way. I remember it. He
It
was
was
like,
the face when you're 14 and you miss your period and you know that for the rest of your life. Like,
your life's just gonna change.
this is it. You know?
So he's instantly like everyone, and then the chat's going wild.
Blow it up!
The chat blew up. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's a girl! Oh my God, she's real!
Right. Like women didn't exist
Oh my
until that
God,
very
she's
moment.
real! Like she's like this. She's legit. Joey, you messed up. Like Joey, like everyone's freaking out. So he's panicking. I'm already blocked and banned.
Hello.
Then he still unbanned me and unblocked me. Then he proceeded to message me. He's like, "Yo,
As-
I am so sorry."
I was like, my dude, understand this. I thought you were a guy. I didn't know you were a girl. I am so sorry. So then I reverse slid into her DMs.
Apologizing, kissing my ass. Just
Ah!
you can say that.
Can we say that? Call it a rumpus. Call it a rump. Call it a rump.
I'm gonna fucking.
Call it a rump! Give it a rump!
So then
Give it a loose!
So then he slides. Stop! Stop! Stop!
Tell my story.
Stop.
Tell it. Tell my story. Oh, that's
Stop.
nice. Don't pull it. Okay.
So he slides into my DMs and he's apologizing. He's going nuts. He's like, "I'm sorry," blah blah.
I'm going bananas.
Going coconuts. Anyways, so he then messages me and I start talking and I was like, "Hey, do you have Skype?" And that's when we exchanged Skype.
Hello.
And we were just talking. Like right after his
All
show
night.
was done, we started
I
talking.
stayed up to 4 a.m. We
5.
hit it off. 5 in the morning.
Well, for me it was 5.
We hit it. Okay, we hit it off, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't anything dirty.
No.
It wasn't anything creepy. We hit it off like best buds. Talked about our likes and dislikes. Talked about where we came from and who we were and everything under the sun.
We managed to get to know each other very well within those hours because we literally just like was nonstop conversation about everything and anything. And then that's when we started talking every single day after that. You were my best friend. Like I would go to school. I'd go to school and I'd go on the computer and there he was and we were messaging and it would continue every
And it was
single
never
day.
dirty. Let me just say this. I was
No.
never a creep. I never had a hidden agenda. I never tried to, turn the conversation in a sexual way because after all, so many people do that. In the beginning, they're really nice. And by the end, they're like, you already know
They're
what
like,
they're...
all right, send me some nudes.
Right, all right, I'm ready for the deli, for the bistro bonanza, as they call it. Anyways, so we talked, and what's funny is she had a boyfriend at the time. Were you single?
I was single at that time.
At that time, she was single, but we stayed good friends, long distance over the internet, all the way to, 20?
Yeah. Because I was dating, and senior year of high school, I was with this guy going into college, and Joey was always a good friend. Like if I had issues with the relationship, you know, I would go for him for advice, and he would be completely honest. He wouldn't.
I wasn't
be
trying to ruin the
biased and
guy's
ruin,
life, so I wasn't trying to say, yeah, break up with him.
sabotage it.
I wanted to see her happy. I wanted to see her do well in life because I lived all the way in Wisconsin. She lived all the way in New York.
New York. And it was nice and refreshing to know that I had someone that genuinely like gave a crap.
It was as refreshing as summer's eve.
You know,
when it's that time.
I wouldn't know. I don't. That stuff's bad for you. Don't use that.
A lot of stuff is bad. I'm bad for you.
So it was like Joey and I, we would talk every single day. We would watch movies. We would play video games. We would listen to music.
I would play guitar for her.
Watch YouTube videos. Like
read books together.
Read books. Like he read
The Fault in Our Stars.
He read The Fault in Our Stars.
We cried together.
And it was like, gosh, it was
John Green, damn it. Was his name John Green? I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
So there's a lot of history. Then at one point I did break up with my boyfriend.
Not because of me.
No. But then I also got like all caught up with life. And then at some point me and Joey like stopped talking for like a whole year.
And drift away.
It was like just a complete like,
we went
straight
from
up
talking
disconnect.
all the time to as if we never even knew each other, and it hurt me. Not only that, my dad died that year, so it was extra hard.
Yeah, and it was.
Where were you during that time?
Wasn't it your birthday?
It was my birthday. She didn't talk to me for a year, and
I told him I was like,
that
I'll talk to you
August she
tomorrow.
called. Yeah, oof.
I did one of those. I was like, I'll talk to you tomorrow, and then I got caught up with
it was
just
my
hanging
birthday.
out with friends, making bad decisions, and you know, doing all that shit.
Those were the days. She goes, "I'll talk to you tomorrow."
And then
a year went by.
And
a lot happened during that year for me.
A lot happened during that year for me.
My whole life changed.
Nothing good. It was nothing good for either of us.
Right.
He went through, you know, the loss of his father. I went through bad decision making and just getting reckless and, you know, getting into trouble. And then, for some reason, it's like we kind of like were sending like signals telepathically to each other because for some reason you were on Skype one day, this is a year in the future after all that, and then I decided to get on Skype.
After like a year.
After a year of not talking.
But you did do one thing. Even though we didn't stay in contact, one day I'd go on Facebook and I'd have 30 likes. And she literally went through each and every one of my pictures just to let me know I'm still here. But for some reason, we didn't talk.
I would purposely, like, just look at... I was a creep. Like, purposely creep. And I would go on every single one of his pictures and I would purposely like it. Next one, like it. Next one, like... And I would do it, like, 30 times. And then I'd stop. And then maybe in about a week or two later, I'd do it again to new pictures and made sure I liked every single one of his pictures that he uploaded. Like, all of them. From when he first started Facebook all the way to current events. Like, I liked everything. And it was just like, hey, I'm still here. You know,
right.
Whatever. So one day, he was on Skype and I got on Skype and I was in the middle of, like, dyeing my hair in my parents' bathroom. Like, a box dye bull crap. I can't...
It's for the kids, honey. Come on, it's for the kids.
I hate not being able.
Hey! Shout outs to the Streamlabs.
Anyways, so I was in my parents' bathroom, dyeing my hair with some box dye. And
box dye!
I just remember bringing my laptop with me because I was watching something on YouTube, and then I saw Joey on Skype. And I was just like, not thinking anything of it, not thinking of like, oh, so much time has passed. I was just like, let's see what he's up to. So I go and I message him, and I call him. He answers. Like, I video chat, and I had my hair all painted with this box dye, and I was like, hey, how's it going?
So I hadn't seen this girl in a year, and I was too scared to get back on camera.
He was. He wouldn't go on camera.
And I literally talked to her for years, every day on camera. We knew each other in and out. Well, not all the way, but... And I was somehow shy to talk to her on camera, because it felt like... a million years ago. Like, when you go from talking to someone every day to not talking to them for a year, it's like all that history never existed.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, a lot can happen in a year. People change in a year.
One summer can change everything. Ask 11 on Stranger Things season 3. Anyways, hey.
So it was like I'm like here like, hey, like nothing ever happened.
Her head's in a tub.
Yeah.
All I'm seeing is her rumpus. And I'm not mad at it. She can't see me, so I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, hey, what's been going on?
And I'm just talking to him, and we're just talking like nothing ever happened. We got caught up in current events in life, and we just picked up like nothing.
So we ended up not being able to afford to live where we were because with the loss of income, my mom and I couldn't swing it. I was working full time, she was working, and we couldn't swing it. So for me, during that year, I had to end up moving in with family, and I ended up staying in their basement after, literally living in a basement after my dad passed away. And it was during that time, one of the darkest times in my life, and just really depressed, that Julissa just kind of showed back up when I needed her the most. Because right around the time I moved in, maybe I was in there for a month and a half, 2 months, then Julissa comes back into my life.
Yeah. It was just weird, like, events, like, how it happened.
And just as quick as it ended, it picked up all over again. Yeah. Like, a year never happened. Mm-hmm. We went back from talking, like, when she told me, it was my birthday, she said, happy birthday, I'll call you tomorrow. It's like none of that ever happened. It's as if she called me and it was still tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just started talking again.
And then we just, like, picked up where we left off.
At this point, I'm 21.
I'm 20. And then, Joey and I, since we first met, we always had feelings for each other, but we never, thought
we knew
the
that
possibility
we
of,
knew we cared about each other, but the idea of long distance.
Yeah.
Wasn't.
The possibility of that we would be able to even have a relationship so far away at such a young age wasn't even, like, an option. But then I'm like, we're older now.
Right.
Like, if
we're
we
not
wanted to
16.
if we wanted to make this work, we actually could if we tried.
Right.
And so that's when... Did you ask me or did I ask you?
You asked me.
We were playing GTA 5.
So once again, we went back to how romantic. Because me and Julissa are big gamers, if you guys didn't know. Big gamers. And we're playing GTA 5 on the 360. Not the
Sandy Shores.
Yeah, Sandy Shores Survival.
Hijacking cars, shooting and killing
racing.
People. And I think we just kind of like were talking about how we cared about each other. And then I was like, would you ever like consider, would you ever date me? And then you were a little hesitant. Because I think, like, you were scared because you didn't want to ruin, our friendship.
We were friends for so long already that the idea of losing her twice, I feel like would have just broke my heart. You know what I mean? Because the first time, we had feelings for each other and we were friends. And that hurt.
Yeah.
So to be in a relationship and dedicate our time and our life and put it on hold for each other, that's a big commitment.
That is.
And I told her yes because, like we said, we were older now. We weren't teenagers. We weren't 16. She wasn't 15. It didn't seem a million miles away. Right? It didn't seem unrealistic. So when I tell you we dedicated every single minute and second that we had free to each other.
Absolutely.
We did that for an entire year.
We would go on Skype, tell each other good night, and
we
then
would
wake
sleep
up
together,
and
the camera would still be on. Right. There would be some Skype calls where we went 72 hours without hanging up.
Right.
If we had work or school, whatever we were doing at that time.
And my parents would be pissed. Like, my mom was just always wondering.
See, my family, my mother knew who Julissa was over the years, but I never spoke with her parents.
Because my parents are very, like, to themselves. They don't like, people knowing business. They don't like the whole, like, what do you call it? Like, not conservative, but like...
no, they're private.
They're very private people.
They're private.
And they didn't like the fact that, like, their daughter was talking to some random guy off the internet, which what parent wouldn't? So...
They didn't even realize that we had been friends since we were teenagers. That we've talked probably thousands of hours. Never brought it up. You never
had to.
Felt you needed to. But when we started dating, it became apparent. It became real.
And it became an issue.
Well, yeah, in their eyes, it became an issue, and it was rough.
Because they didn't like, me taking the laptop camera out of the bedroom so people can see what the house. They didn't like.
They were just
someone
worried.
like watching their daughter or seeing their faces. Like
Because you never
it
know
was
anyone's true
protective.
intentions. They were being protective, and
So
I'm sure when we have a family, we'll be protective in the way they were.
So during the time when we were dating, long distance, it was the fact that, okay, I'm ready to move out. Like, I'm ready to start my life. I'm realizing that I literally don't know how to live on my own because pretty much everything was done for me. Cooking, cleaning, everything. And I felt I was turning 21 at this time, and I'm like, God, I'm freaking useless.
Like,
I'm like, I don't know how to do anything.
So, in her perspective, this is her life, and in mine, I had to grow up quick. My dad was sick my whole life. I learned how to do things. I understood how to do things, and we were just on two different ends of the spectrum during this time.
I was talking to Joey and telling him, like, I'm ready to move out, but I can't afford to live anywhere in New York. Like, it's too expensive.
You didn't want all these roommates. Like, you wanted to do your own thing.
I don't trust people to, like, have roommates. I don't want to live in a crappy, like,
studio apartment with a pull-out couch
in a ghetto
futon.
area. Like, that wasn't my jam. And then you were the one that offered, like, well, why don't you come here? And I'm like...
And I'm thinking, if we're going to... And this is why I said it. If we're dating, right, we obviously plan on being together. This isn't for fun. Maybe when you're a teenager, it's for fun, but we were adults. Mm-hmm. And looking back on it, I still stand by that. We were adults, and I was very mature in that aspect. And I just said, why don't you come out here and visit for a weekend? Because we never physically met.
And I was still, like, getting a grasp of, like, responsibilities and things like that. So everything, like, the thought of that scared me. The thought of it, like, was new to me. But it's like, okay, I want a relationship with this person. Duh. Why wouldn't I move? Then I'm looking at the cost of living rates, and I'm looking at how much apartments are in Wisconsin compared to New York, and I'm just like, holy crap, why the hell wouldn't I do that?
Heck!
So I decided to work. I worked at Macy's on 34th Street, and I worked commission sales, and I busted my
rump.
And I literally worked my tail off. I saved a bunch of... Stop! I saved a bunch of money, and it was in moving, and I kept bringing the whole thing to my parents. I'm like, I want to get my own place, because my sister had just recently moved out as well. And I was like, I do want to get my own place. I want to live. And my dad's like, well, where do you want to go? And I go, well, why don't I out of state somewhere, And my dad's like, yeah, where? And I go, Wisconsin. He's like, what the hell is in Wisconsin? Why the hell do you want to go there? Like going like ham. Like,
but they knew that I was in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
We went through a lot of hell, a lot of heckin' hell, during that year. And it was hard for us.
It was hard for both of us. It was very hard for me.
Of course.
Because I was like...
living it.
And
you were in the household.
Like, it was really hard for my parents and to finally have them understand the fact that my intentions were to move out and to go to Wisconsin to be with this guy here that they never met, that they don't trust, that they don't know. And,
to sum it up, they never were going to welcome me in their family. They never wanted to see me. If I was going to be with their daughter, I didn't exist to them.
My parents
were,
in a way, threatening me, saying that they weren't going to help me. Like, if something happened, they weren't going to be there, just to scare me so I didn't
So she wouldn't go. They were worried.
And when it came down to the day that I was visiting, and I was packing half of all of my belongings and leaving it to Wisconsin.
Sending it. Through the postal service.
I didn't have much. But it was still, like, it was my belongings, like my clothes, all my things.
Your important stuff.
All that I had.
And it was nice stuff, so you were really... That's a gamble in itself.
And when my parents saw that I was doing that...
They realized...
They were shook.
They're like, oh, she's not joking.
Because when I'm... Say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
I know that's right.
So, they were actually scared at that point. And then when I went... I had a great time with Joey. He took me out. She came here.
I brought her one Lily because it's a favorite.
It's my favorite.
I met her at the airport. And we finally... Let me tell you guys something. Forget alcohol. Forget drugs. One of the greatest highs is meeting somebody that you care about. And when it's somebody that you love and you have history with. To want to hold them. To smell them. To touch them. To feel them. All of these what ifs. To have a companion. And it's only... over the internet, it's no physical. When I finally seen her, And I realized this person is real. Not in the sense that she wasn't real then, but in the sense that she's real right here in front of me. I'm about to hold her. I'm about to touch her. So I give her the flower. I come out. What's the first thing you noticed about me when I came out of the car?
He's tall. Well, I'm short.
She's 5'2", are you?
I'm 5'2.5", 3.
And you're 5'2". You're always she tries to throw a 3 in there, like when you're 10 years old. I'm 10 3/4.
Depends on how.
I gave her a lily, and she goes, "Joey." That's the first thing she said, and she starts tearing up. And then we went in for our first kiss, and right then and there, I knew that this was gonna be the woman that I was gonna marry. I knew that this was the woman, the girl, my companion, that my friend, that I spent so much of my life sharing with. And when I finally got to hold her in my arms, the adrenaline, the endorphins, it was the greatest high in the world.
Because after that time, we knew each other for 7 years.
It was the greatest high in the world.
Yeah, it was surreal. And, like, just being able to hug him,
to smell each other.
Him,
I wore La Nuit
to
de
see
L'Homme by
him.
Yves Saint Laurent for all of my guys from Joey Cannoli, in case you're interested. So that will always be her favorite, because that was the first scent that she ever smelled on me.
And then, his mom was there too. Mama Cannoli was
Oh
there.
yeah, Mama.
Because she wanted to be part of it.
Mama loved you. She wanted to be a
And
part of
I
it.
saw her, and it was just so nice. And then we all, like, went out to eat.
We went to...
I think, like, 3 days.
Yeah, where did we go? Where did we go first? We went to the Cheesecake Factory. Showed her around Wisconsin, took her out to the bars. We had wings.
We went to a bar to have wings. Then we went went around. Like, we were just, like, out and about and just with each other.
It was as if we were together all those years.
It wasn't awkward. Well, the only awkward part was that Joey sat in the front seat, and then I was in the back seat while, your mom was driving. And because mom wanted to be part of it.
Right.
And Joey kept, like, looking at me through, like, the
my mom
thing.
My mom wanted to be there so we could be together.
Yeah.
So, and did we have Holly?
No. Holly was home.
And Julisa's luggage took up the room, and I'm staring at her in awe. I'm in shock.
Joey kept, like, turning his seat. Like, he was...
I couldn't believe that this girl was in front of me.
He kept on, like, turning around, looking at me over the seat.
It was literally like seeing an angel. And I'm not saying that to be cheesy. I was looking at the most beautiful woman in the world, and someone that I loved and cared about, and she was right in front of me. What a treat.
It was so nice. And then...
We hit it off.
Yeah.
As if we were always together. And the weekend flew by like 3 hours.
God, it was so sad to go, but then I knew that I was coming back.
She looked at me and she said, "I'll be back." Like, she pulled the Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, she just pulled out like a shotgun and killed like 20 people, and then she looked at me with the glasses. "What'd you say?"
"I'll be back."
"I'll be back." And I was like, "Hey, Sarah Connor, what are you gonna do?" And I said, "All right, I'll see you soon."
And then that was when I came back home. My parents asked me how everything was.
She came back in one piece instead of pieces.
Right. And I said, all right, let's get the rest of my stuff and let's get packing. And then I left my job. I saved up enough money. I paid for, my flight ticket and everything. When my parents finally realized that I was being serious, they helped me out, helped me with packing all my belongings and shipping it out. They helped me out a lot towards the end. They were scared for me. They were scared because they didn't know where I was going. No one's ever been Midwest, so it's terrifying. But it came out. I came back. Joey was happy. We were happy. It was like
we just got a place.
It was hard though too, just like leaving all that you've known for 21 years to just go out, being in a world that you don't know.
I'll admit to you guys right now that Julissa is a stronger person than I am, because I wouldn't have been able to do it.
I left my whole entire family behind in New York just to be with this guy. And, to better my life and, to
be with the person
be with the person that I care about. And it's like,
the sacrifices that you did let me know that you wanted this. Let me know that this was real.
It was hard for me because, you know, I missed my family, I missed my parents,
First
I
6
missed
months were
everything
the
that I
worst.
knew. The first 6 months were hard, especially with all the holidays and things that came up that I wasn't going to be part of, that I wasn't going to be
And we had to move during
around
the
with.
winter time.
My asthma
We both have
acted up.
asthma, and then it's dust.
I had to go to the emergency
Twice.
room twice. I was put on a ventilator. Not a ventilator, but what do you call them?
Respirator.
A respirator. And it was hard. Like, everything was hard. But then, you know,
We had been through so much already
yeah.
that no matter what life was going to throw at us, now that we were together, we knew that we were going to get past it.
Until this day, my family says, you know, I've got
Balls.
balls that did something that none of them would have ever thought of doing.
Right.
And I did it because I knew that I would be okay. I knew that this was going to make me stronger. I knew this is where I was going to have to learn how to grow up and take responsibility for things that I never did and learn and all that. And I was down to $36 to my name when I finally found my first job out here, and that was when I worked at Kohl's. And I finally got a job. I got on my feet. I started paying bills, responsibility, everything.
She started her life.
I started, and my mom and my dad, they would Skype me and message me every single day to make sure that I was okay, and I would give them life updates and tell them everything, and everything was fine. And, you know, at one point, you know, because my mom and my family didn't like Joey.
Even when Julissa was living here and they knew that she wasn't hacked into pieces, they were still a little resentful.
You know?
Right?
So I purposely took my laptop and I swiveled it over to, I'm like, hey, talk to Joey here. And
Her mother, mind you.
I put them both on the spot, and they had no choice but to talk to each other. And then my family finally talked to you, and they apologized for how they treated you.
Yeah, they apologized to me, which I still hold close in my heart, because when I tell you guys that we went through hell, we went through hell. They tested, bad. You know, it was probably one of the hardest parts of our relationship.
Absolutely.
Was getting over that hump, you know, that
tough.
blockade. But it made it all worth it.
It did.
So, in case you wonder how it ended, you know.
Unfortunately, due to circumstances. Well, we're jumping the gun here. We're jumping the gun. Hold on.
You think this camera's gonna stay alive any longer?
We're gonna have time. So, fast forward. Oh, ew, why did the lighting change like that?
Because you've been telling a story for 20 years.
Fast forward. That
was me.
2 years ago, Joey finally popped the question. And he did it in the smoothest way he ever did in his life. Like, you couldn't have done anything better than that. That was pretty legit. So,
I think I did good.
It was his nephew's 3rd birthday. And Joey kept telling me, he's like, get yourself really nice, you know, why don't you go do your makeup, you know, just nice for pictures. And I go, okay, alright, that's fine, whatever. So I get myself nice. And then, go ahead, because that's all I know from there.
So, let me tell you how it started from my perspective. You know, Julissa and I jumped into living together. A lot of relationships, they could be dating for 4 years and be happy, and then the second they finally move in, they break up because they can't stand each other.
Oh, I still want to kill him.
Our relationship was so... What's the word I'm looking for?
It was natural. It was like, just everything just went
It was
smoothly.
natural, but it was abnormal. Our relationship was so different. It wasn't
traditional.
It was so non-traditional in the sense because we went from meeting on a weekend, 3 days, and hitting it off, to her moving in immediately, and it was perfect. 3 years went by, and then all of a sudden, I caught Julissa looking at engagement rings. And that's when I knew. When a woman, boys, pay attention here. When you've been with a woman long enough, and her tastes start to change, and she starts doing things that she never used to when she was younger, and all of a sudden you catch her looking at the engagement rings. Wake up! That's a hint. That's her way. So I'd say in 3 months, I got your engagement ring, and I had it planned. I didn't want to propose on Christmas or New Year's.
Or Valentine's Day.
Nothing However, funny. My nephew's birthday is in February. 3rd and 4th?
Yeah.
God, I hope my sister doesn't watch this. Anyways, and I called her father a couple weeks prior. And I had her mom and dad sit down, and I pulled it on. I'm very old school. I asked her father if I could marry his daughter. And I asked her mother if she would accept me into her family. And they said without a doubt. Absolutely. They already considered me, the son that they never had. Because during this time, we already visited New York. I was in their house. We were together. And they loved me. We hit it off. And they welcomed me with open arms and told me yes. So then I told my sister, I said, listen, I said, I want to, how do you feel if I propose to Julissa during my nephew's birthday? And she loved it. She thought it was the greatest thing to be a part of that and wanting to share our special day. So as my nephew is finishing up his presents, my sister, and this is all staged, right? My sister goes, oh, we got one more gift, Henry, come get it. Henry goes to get the gift. And everyone's kind of waiting, and he goes, this isn't for me. And Angie goes, well, who's it for? And he goes, well, it's for Juju. And Julissa turns around.
I'm like, what?
And I have Henry holding the ring with the box open. So during this moment, I pulled a MacGyver. I slipped on my knee so fast. I slid out of my chair. Shout outs to the girls. I slipped on my knee. Don't cry. What are you doing?
I'm not crying.
And little did Julissa know. I'm not crying, you're crying. I slip on my knee. And Julissa, she's in shock. She's not even like there. She's still
gone.
Still gone. And I asked her, I said, will you marry me? And a good 5 to 10 seconds went by and I heard nothing. You want to know why? It's not because she was considering if she would. Your boy Joey had her entire family live on Skype, which I found ironic. Live on Skype. With champagne to be there, video chatting, so they can be there during that special moment. Because, listen, when you have family back home and they're not there for those special moments, it's hard. Holidays, birthdays, it's hard. But to be able to bring them together during that moment was one of the greatest feelings in the world.
Absolutely.
So Julissa looks down, and here I am on one knee asking her to marry me, and then she realizes on the phone
that my family's
her grandmother,
there.
her aunt, her sister, her mother, her father. It was beautiful. And of course...
And it was just so amazing that he thought of having my family,
family
to
first.
be there.
Family first.
Even though they're miles and miles away, it was just such an amazing thing for him to, consider. And I was ugly crying.
Very ugly. Like the ugliest I've ever seen it. I actually considered, do I want to do this? Because, God forbid you got to stare at I was like, man, all right, I'm going to head out.
You're like, oh.
I was like, in a true Wisconsinite word, maybe reconsider. But
and of course, I said yes. And, it's
been 2 years.
It's been 2
years. We've been saving our money, and
we were supposed to get married this year in June.
A few months away. But, life happens.
Unfortunately, due to current events with COVID-19 just ruining everyone's year, we are postponing our wedding. However,
that's not the real reason.
It's
an important reason, but listen, I'm gonna throw it out there, and for you guys watching, you know this already. Julissa's mom got sick back in January. She was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and due with the chemotherapy and the compromised immune system and just the amount of travel and it's tiring. We decided that we were going to postpone the wedding because we were not under any circumstance going to get married without her mother being there. Because I would hope Julissa would do the same thing for me. Yeah. So we decided to get married next June so she can go through the chemo treatments, God willing, and she can get back in good health. But little did we know Corona was waiting around the corner to finesse us one more time.
Right. So regardless, either way,
it was never meant to happen. It wasn't meant to be. 2020 isn't a good year for any of us.
However, I told Joey I'm not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. So next year is going to be our year. This year, we're just going to try to stay healthy, take some time.
We're going to appreciate
each other this year. And
appreciate our loved ones and our family and stop taking everything in life for granted because we're going through crazy times right now, guys. And we're not the only people that had
your loved ones.
Cancel their wedding. I feel so bad. Anyone that's graduated, gets married, has a baby.
Call your family members that you haven't talked to in a while. Or, just...
It's an eye-opener.
Be with the people that you love right now, if you can. If not, please stay at home. But this is just something that we're all going through. And we just wanted to share a piece of our life with you and that we're glad that some of you have been there to witness our journey.
A lot of you that are watching this, because this is our first video, so you're gonna see a personal side to us
and where we are today, and
here we are today, still surviving. Nothing gonna break my stride.
Nobody gonna slow.
Chill out with the melody. We'll get hit hard. But yeah, guys.
Gotta keep on moving.
So much love to all of you. Yesterday was Easter. Happy Easter. If I didn't get to say it to you. Welcome to the cannolis.
Welcome to the cannolis. I love you.
I love you. And I really love you.
Oh, Daddy. Daddy, yeah.